Thank you everybody for joining us today. Thank you so much to Databricks for being a sponsor of this important program. In addition to being the Chief Data Officer for SAP in Europe, I have the proud honor of being the president of the Women in Big Data program, which is a global program. I'm proud to say we're in Latin America, we're in Australia, we started in North America, and we have over 6,000 resources available to us via sign up through Meetup, through our LinkedIn groups, through our Facebook groups. So I'm really proud to see the effort getting a lot of momentum. So I wanted to talk today a bit about some of the diversity challenges and why do we need a Women in Big Data program? And I'm sure that you all here probably see in your respective organizations the challenge of finding other women around. I was saying to somebody earlier that here at Databricks, I sat in on a few sessions this morning and I could count the number of women in the sessions on one hand. And I just, when you go to these kinds of conferences, the line for the men's room is super long and the women have no problem getting in. Yeah, it's kind of nice for us, but it's also a little bit depressing. And some of the numbers that we found in the research from Women in Big Data are a little bit disheartening, at least. We find less than 20% of women in leadership positions, or women in tech in general. The number of women in leadership positions is about 5% in the tech organizations. The number of women overall is about 15 to 17%. Nowhere near it is reflective of society, and nowhere near it needs to be in terms of the importance of having diverse teams. And why big data? Oftentimes I get the question, Tino, okay, I get it, you're a data person, but why do you need a specific organization for women in big data? And my answer is a little glib, but it's because there are big opportunities with big data. Really, there are huge opportunities for women to move into a big data career if they're not already on that path. The opportunities are boundless. There's opportunities in tech, there's opportunities in management, there's opportunities in business. It's on a huge growth trajectory. So what a great place for women to be. We've also found in our research that women really like to be in positions where they have an influence to improve society. And so what better place than in big data, where you could mine data and search for a cure for cancer, where you can have an opportunity to bring about data for good. Yeah? And I think that women will excel, and I know that women will excel in those types of opportunities. So it's big and it's valuable. So it's a perfect spot for women to enter this kind of a profession. Some disheartening, though, statistics. And what happens with women in big data or women in tech starts at a very early age. And I speak from experience. I have a 9-year-old. I see she loves math. But Mommy, all the boys are in math. All the boys are in the top group in math, even at 9 years of age, even with 2 senior executives in the household who work for data professions. She still is saying, why math? And so I had this discussion with her about how math is in every day, how math is also data, how math can lead to various opportunities for her, and she thinks robots are cool. So I'm like, okay, math equals robots, right? So when they're really young, they get excited and they find ways in which to apply their learning. But something scary happens when women get to university level. They start to move off into other directions, yeah? They start to go into majors that are outside of science, tech, and math. They aren't offered the same kinds of opportunities in university. So it starts off 66%, yeah, I like math, I like science. When they get to university, it drops to 18% of specialization. But what's really scary is what happens when they get a little bit older, when they're at the peak of their career. So if women are in an organization, they're in a tech position, they get to about 30 years of age, 50% of them leave. And by the way, it's not because they leave to go have a baby. It's not because they leave to go part-time. They leave because they aren't finding their opportunities within the companies. They're hitting what we might call that glass ceiling. Yeah, they don't have a mentor who can help them achieve the next level. They don't have guidance on their career. They don't see options, so they go somewhere else. And so these are the sweet spots, if you will, for our program. So we have targeted solutions to address the root causes that I've just mentioned. But I also, because this is AI specific, this is a kind of conference that data people would like to attend or that are attending, I wanted to also speak about AI specifically and the potential there. So what we found, and this is a European number, is there's about 13.5% of women who are currently in data science or AI or ML or big data type positions here in Europe. So there's certainly a lot of opportunities here. And we still have the challenge of less than 3% women in a leadership position. So I'm so proud and thankful for Databricks for putting a female CDO on the stage yesterday and for sponsoring these type of sessions, because we need those women leaders to demonstrate that there are opportunities at a senior position for women in tech. Okay, now let's see if the video plays. So I wanted to show you a little bit of a video which talks a bit more about the challenges of women and some of the successes that women are having today.
Big data is changing the world around us. Today, much of what we do, see, touch, and experience generates data. Collecting and correlating these huge data sets helps us extract brand new, valuable insights. Big data helps us make better decisions, work more efficiently, reduce costs and risk, and predict the future. Anya uses big data to analyze traffic patterns so her city can get people in and out of concerts, games, and other events quickly and safely. Ria uses big data to track shoe style trends on social media so that manufacturers can plan ahead, saving cost and resources, reducing waste, and better meeting customer demand. Lakshmi uses big data to analyze genomics, contributing to new methods to defeat deadly diseases. Lee uses big data to keep track of whale migrations to protect endangered species and to help researchers learn more about these magnificent animals. And Marta uses the power of big data to rigorously analyze human rights violations around the world and to help protect the most vulnerable in areas of conflict. But, like many technical fields, big data presents a number of hurdles for women. Big data is a male-dominated area where women are a distinct minority. Too often, women are not encouraged to pursue the technical classes and degrees needed for fulfilling careers in big data. Plus, too many companies just don't get that they can be more successful and profitable when gender diversity is a priority. The Women in Big Data Forum is out to change how big data gets done and who does it. We're a collection of women working hard to address the shortage of females in the big data workforce. We work for industry leaders in big data, and our goals are to inspire, to connect, to grow, to champion the success of women in big data, and to increase women's representation in big data to at least 25% by 2020. Join us and help make a difference. Visit www.womeninbigdata.org to learn more.
That's our commercial, if you will, just to give you a sense of the magnitude of the problem, but there's also a solution. So Women in Big Data as a program offers free training, mentors, job postings, networking through the support of these sponsors. So this is what really differentiates us from organic programs that drive diversity initiatives. We have the muscle and the power of these companies behind us. So from SAP, from my perspective, from Databricks, and from these other companies that you see here. And they allow us access to their resources. They provide mentors. They have training opportunities. They support our events. We have a chapter here in London, so those who are local. We have quite a few chapters now set up across Europe. So in France and Germany and the big cities, as you can imagine, there is a Women in Big Data program that you, if you're interested, can participate in. I will pass around, if you don't already have a flyer, I encourage you to go to the website and sign up and get involved. And you can have an opportunity to do a variety of things that are interested to you, whether you are looking to develop your own career or whether you want to help other young women develop theirs. There's a place for you in Women in Big Data. And if you have any questions or aren't sure of how to get involved, you can always reach out to me. Thank you. So that's it for Women in Big Data in terms of an overview, but we have an opportunity for Marta here to present from Capgemini. She's had a tremendous experience working with the World Rugby Club. Did I say that right? Yeah. World Rugby. And so we're going to give her an opportunity to share her experiences with you. Just give us a moment. If you haven't already gotten lunch too as well, please be sure to pick up something. Thank you.
Is there any sound on your print? Have you got
Yes.
on yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is more.
Is that on this side?
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, can I? So, good afternoon once again. So my name is Marijse, as was just introduced. I work as a data scientist with Capgemini in their insights and data practice in the UK. And over the past few months, or since end of last year, I've been involved in the innovation partnership that we've set up with the World Rugby. So why did we as Capgemini decide to partner with World Rugby? First of all, we have a long history of supporting rugby. Our founder, Serge Kamp, was advocated the reflection of our own values in the game of rugby. And our introduction this year as the Global Innovation Partner of World Rugby for the HSBC World Rugby 7 series, which I'll tell about more. But also the Rugby World Cup sort of reflects our own passion and our passion for innovation. The Rugby Sevens is the innovation hub for World Rugby, with teams and fans just willing to have some fun, really. So now this is about women in big data, it's diversity, so why rugby more specifically? So one of the ambitions of World Rugby is to have, by 2025, to be a global leader in sport where women involved in rugby have equity on and off the field, are reflected in all strategy, plans and structures, making highly valued contributions to participation, performance, leadership and investment in the global game of rugby. Well, I personally think this is quite an ambition. I think they're on the right way to achieving this. So how are they doing this? They're trying to enhance the game of rugby for both fans and the players. And to do this, they're trying to innovate. So we've worked with Rugby to design innovations, and we've spread these over the men's and women's teams as they're looking to create this equity. So all the innovations we've come up with, they're designed to engage a wide and diverse audience. And what we're trying to do is to incorporate the diversity that's on offer within the World Rugby community, together with the capabilities from our own group, to help World Rugby deliver their ambition through the delivery of artificial intelligence in this case. So just as a short introduction into what the Rugby Sevens is, because I personally wasn't aware of this when I was asked to work on this. So I got a 2-line introduction basically saying it's a game. It's 7 players in each team. It's 2 times 7 minutes. They travel around the world, so there's 10 tournaments, 10 different countries each year. And that was it. That's what I had when I got started. So that's what I'll give you. From here we go. So we have a video coming up to give you an introduction into what we did, some general information around innovation in sport, then how we worked with fans to create these innovations, and lastly what we really built.
My aim is to bring Capgemini's passion for innovation and technology to create a new partnership with the HSBC World Rugby Sevens series. And for me, the best starting point is to focus on the fans. Our challenge right now is how can we all work together to innovate and design new and exciting experiences for them. We've actually set up a IDN studio in the stadium. We've had stakeholders come to work with us, people from World Rugby, our fellow partners, and fans as well. Rugby Sevens is a fantastic, fast, fun experience. They don't want to settle for that. They want to push ahead and create an even better fan experience.
Throughout the culture of rugby, when we get on the field, I'm going to probably try and hit you as hard as I can. After the game, I'm going to help you up. I'm going to have a bit for anyone coming into rugby. Sevens is an easy stepping stone.
I can't stop talking about it.
I wish there was more tickets available.
This is what it's about. People want to enjoy themselves, enjoy good rugby.
The spirit that comes out, it's amazing.
14 minutes of non-stop rugby is one of the most amazing things anybody in the world could ever ask for.
You're consuming information pretty quickly. There's a lot of action in that 14 minutes. You get no dead time at all. It's just action, action, action.
Really, our main goal is to surface insights and then turn them into opportunities.
The closest thing to Sevens is a music festival in terms of the audience here. We need to not lose that.
So in terms of more specific information, the research around that, understand how teams play to make the pictures tell a bit of a narrative.
And bearing in mind there are different groups of fans who might want different sets of content. I want vignettes of videos of this player, that's who I'm interested in, of that event, create your own page.
If that data is available, why not share it? Have something that is consistent and stylish and informative.
What's really compelling about the work that we're doing here in Cape Town is that we're completely immersed in the environment and are able to look at all the different vantage points that everybody associated with Rugby Sevens has. We can actually talk directly to the fans as they are watching the game, and then we can take that and actually use the design methodologies to create real, far more compelling innovations that'll really support what the fans are looking for and how the game can grow in the future.
I hope this has given you sort of a feel for what the World Rugby 7 series is, and also who the fans are and what passions they have for this sport. This was personally my first experience with World Rugby, so I got to go there and got immersed in the entire, almost circus that World Rugby 7 series really is. And the special thing about this is that we got to see all the different stakeholders and parties involved in the 7 series. Oh, next slide. So, going from there to go into the discovery stage that we entered, we had to think about what can we do and what's happening in sports today. What innovations are there? What trends are we seeing? The first one that's a very clear change is how we're consuming content. So where previously people would watch at their screen to television maybe, or they're just their one screen to watch sports or anything really, these days people have a second screen which they use to consume. So they might be looking at statistics, at social media, at Twitter, and they see it there faster. So really that second screen is an extra way in for us to reach fans and for us to engage with a wider audience. The second big transition is data and AI. So what's happening is people are more interested in what's in the statistics around sport, in what they're actually seeing on screen. And one of the things that we've tried to do is engage with the fans to see what can we give you that makes watching the sport or engaging more interesting. And one of the things that's out there that's of interest for the future is athlete wearables. How can you incorporate this right away in your experience? The third thing that we have is virtual reality and augmented reality that's been coming of age. Where we see this playing a large part is in gamifying the game. So how can people be more part of the experience, and what can they do to be part of the game, to be on the field almost with the players. Then obviously there's the smart stadium. So people who have the opportunity to attend games, they go to the stadium, and how can this be smarter? How can we link it in with smart cities? How can we work with them? How can we work with stadiums for apps, contactless payments? Maybe Uber can help in this type of setup of stadium. And then lastly, which is disrupting most of any industry at this moment, is cryptocurrency and blockchain. So how we see this interact with the sports industry is through, for instance, through ticketing. So it's a safe way, but also through fan engagement, where it's a way to where it can be used to so the examples where this might potentially be used is ticketing, like said, but also the engagement and rewarding of fans. So onto the fans then. So these sort of exploring who the fans are, who the different fan personas are, who's listening, who's watching, where they are across the world, has been one of the big things that that we explored whilst being in South Africa. So World Rugby was very clear that they that they like the character of the game as it is at the moment. Sorry, not sure why it's. That they like the game of the character as it is at the moment, and they don't want to lose this. So they are very keen on the values, and the values that are very strongly embedded in World Rugby are discipline, are fun, are integrity, solidarity. And one of the things that became very clear is that for people involved in rugby, they do it together. They play together. They might have things happening on the field that they're not happy about, but then afterwards they sit together and they have a beer. So that was something that they wanted to keep, but at the same time they want to. I'm sorry, I'm just going to see if I can make this not move all the time. Let's see. So at the same time, they want to they want to improve the experience that we had. So we sat down with all of these fans, and we came up with 50 high-level concepts, which we narrowed down to 6 key innovations that we've delivered over the past months. And that's basically these 6. So the first innovation that was come up with is a match predictor, which is really twofold. So on the one hand, it allows people watching the game to continue to. I'm really not sure. So it allows people who are watching the game to say what they think the outcome of the game is going to be. People can compete against their friends, and they can. Oh, what am I doing? People can compete against their friends. People can compete against the match predictor, which is basically a machine learning algorithm that predicts the end of each game. The second innovation we came up with is the. I'm sorry, let me just figure out what's happening. The second innovation we came up with is the digital stats hub. So it's a replacement of the sheet that commentators used to pick up before they started the matches, and they would basically see what's happening. Now it's an interactive dashboard where they see the different statistics, where they see historical team performance, and also how different teams performed against each other. The third innovation is the live match tracker, which gives almost real-time insights into the game as they happen. The expert view then is a video, or are short snippets by an expert in the field who basically goes through the game tactics, and it's really there to give an expert view, but also to educate the fans. So it's there for new fans, for old fans, and for people really to learn something about the game. A fun fact here is that one of the expert views was detailed enough to actually make one of the teams have to change their tactics, as simply it couldn't be used anymore. The fifth innovation is the Next VR highlight, which allows people to be on the field and be on the field and replay certain parts of the game, having the best seats in the house. So it was perfect for the World Rugby, as it sort of tours around the world, and people aren't always able to see each of the matches they might want to see. So this allows people from different geographies and time zones to be included in the game. The last innovation is the Experial AR cannon, and the Experial AR cannon is interesting because it's really building on the concept of smart stadiums, where you want to engage the people in the stadiums. So what's happening there is there are rugby balls being fired from the screen, and people can download an app on their phone, which they can use to hit the ball back. Basically, it's a game. Person who hits the target most wins in that sense. So one of the key themes that we've seen throughout these innovations is the integration of data and AI. So when we arrived with World Rugby, they had a limited set of data for us to use, and we really tried to dive into the different fans to see what is there and what does each of these fans want to see. How can we make sure that we have something for everyone who's involved in World Rugby? So we started out with identifying really the measures that matter. What is it that they want? Once we had an idea of that, we sat down with experts in the field and we started to further define how those measures might look, what they might be. And things we come up with are potency in attack, efficiency in defense, possession, and we started linking those up to each other. And these are also the features that we ended up feeding into the machine learning algorithms that we use for match predictions. So by engaging with the different fans at different points, and also by constantly being in touch with all the different stakeholders available within World Rugby and the different people from our own group who, well, if you like, know about these things, we have been continuously evolving what we've built for World Rugby. So what's happened then? So we started in South Africa last December, where we had an initial discovery phase where we learned a lot about who were involved, all the diversity in the game, where we really sat down and started from scratch. We had design-led workshops, which really were there to define the art of the possible. From there, we moved into a devising phase where we did different proof of concepts. We came up with those innovations, which we built and which we tested and refined with users in Vegas, Vancouver, Hong Kong, Singapore, London, and Paris, where we used corporate hospitality to learn from small deployment. And from there, we moved to the official launch in San Francisco, where we deployed all of these innovations. And really, from here, the journey continues. We're not there yet. We have only really just gotten started. So I believe that the key to the success that we've accomplished with World Rugby is really is in the approach, which is heavily leaned on the diversity in both the World Rugby community and bringing all the capabilities and diversity from across our own group. So from here, what we'll be doing is we'll be enhancing the different innovations that we've come up with. We'll be deploying these further, and hopefully to an enterprise grade. And we'll be working with World Rugby to define their objectives for the upcoming season, to see how we can help them achieve their ambition through innovation. And most importantly, during all of this, we will continue to have fun. That was it. Is there any questions? Cool. Well, thank you for your time.
Sorry, I cannot connect this one. I might need additional plug. Yep. thanks for giving time. I work for Quantum Black, which is an advanced analytics company and we are part of McKinsey. And we have an event, Women in Tech Leaders Day, basically. So I would like to welcome you all for that. That's on 16th of November. And it's going to be fun, like programming. Plus, we are also going to do some exercises and also networking. So I would like to welcome all of you for that. And go to the Eventbrite. And this is my number. I'm Bhagya. So please join us. We would love to welcome you for that. Thank you. Oh, okay, yeah. It's an International Women's Day apparently, so.
So our big sponsors here in London are Vodafone, SAP,
Right.
Intel, IBM.
Yeah.
So we take turns hosting and doing different kinds of events.
Okay.
There's also an event in early December that's really cool. I think it's called Speed Mentoring, sort of like speed dating, where you'll have a chance to go and spend a few minutes with various mentors asking a few questions of each and go around the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question about what you said it's like global. Do you have presence? Thank you. Do you have presence in the Middle East?
We have Israel, Egypt, so far.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Australia just started, Latin America, and certainly all over Europe. And we're always looking for people who are interested in creating their own chapters in their own communities. That's the best way. Yes, there's lots of opportunities if you want to take a leadership role. If you don't already have a chapter there or if you want to participate.
I have a question, actually. How many women do you actually are sign up for Women in Big Data Forum? Like how many members?
I would say our biggest in Europe is about 600 members strong.
Okay,
It's
cool.
huge.
Yeah.
And they have events that are standing room only, like 100, 200 at each event. They've been going for quite a while. In Paris, we have maybe about 75 or so
Okay.
active. We started in Palo Alto with IBM, Intel, and SAP at the forefront, and they have, certainly because they're Palo Alto, they have thousands.
Yeah.
Join their events. They always have some pretty senior level people from the sponsor companies come and present. They have book signings with, because it's the valley, right? So they have scale. Here in Europe, it's a little bit different because we have such a broad geography,
Mm-hmm.
and we try to encourage each chapter to demonstrate what's interesting to them, whether it be a specific training track or a mentoring track or whatnot, and we like them to do it in their local language.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we don't force any. In fact, I always say to our team, rarely do we say no. So if you have an idea, go for it. And we let the local chapters kind of build themselves up the way they see fit.
Okay, cool. So for each country, basically in Europe, you will have the chapter, basically. Okay.
Exactly. Little pockets of women in big data programs going on locally. And we find that to be pretty effective because there's a lot of networking.
Yeah.
They go like in Dublin, no surprise, they love to go to the pubs. So the Dublin chapter always meets in a certain pub once a month. So yeah, it just depends on how they want to structure it.
Okay, cool. And do you have an annual Women in Big Data Forum, like when you guys are? Yeah. One day. Okay, we're gonna do that here. Okay, let's build that. Cool.
Huge presence, of course, at Grace Hopper
Yep.
in the U.S. We have a huge presence at SAP Sapphire event, Viva Tech in Paris.
Mhm.
So the big shows, we usually have women in big data represented well there. But I love the concept of doing something just for us.
Yeah, and I guess it's also harder when you're in smaller companies. If I take my example, so in London we are like 30 people at the office. We are 3 women. Yeah.
It's the same with our company too.
Yeah, and none of us are actually in technical. I'm doing marketing, and the two other ladies are in the sales department. So none of us are actually in technical department. So it's, I would say, interesting as a word. Yeah. Yeah, completely. I think it's like it's changing. It's taking some time, but we really need to exactly. Cool. Thank you so much. Thanks.